Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be going over my budget for the month of October. And here is my kind of overview page. It's the page before the month starts. And I will get started with my income portion here. So salary, as always. So actually I'm just going to be referencing my cheat sheet here. I showed in a video how I kind of plan for my budget. I'll link it up in the cards below. So my salary, as always, is $2277.34. My rollover amount is typically $0, but this month I actually am rolling over quite a bit, $510. And this is mainly from the refund that I got last month. So I'll go ahead and link my September closeout up in the cards below or up in the cards above, but I basically got around $1,000 refund because I overpaid for a medical expense. So I got that money back, and a lot of that is rolling over to this month to be used for various items that you'll see in a second. Miscellaneous income, I am expecting $0. So my total for this month will be $2,787.34. And then the actual amount in the plus and minus will be filled in at the end of the month. And then the next section here is the expenses, which will get filled in as I go through my budget. And then the snowball will be calculated at the very end. And if you notice, this month it just says snowball, whereas previous months it said debt snowball. And that is because last month I officially paid off my debt. So any money that's extra will be going to my emergency fund since I'm on baby step 3 of the Dave Ramsey method. So that's all for this introduction for the overview page. I have this dashboard page, which I usually put a big quote here. I still need to print that out. I'll calculate my cash envelope breakdown once I actually complete my budget. I have my monthly goals this month, what I plan to do with any extra money I have left over, and then my no spending tracker down below. Overview of the monthly page. I have bills up top. My spending will go in stickers at the bottom, and then each of these vertical lines represents the end of a week. So I typically do it the full week, 7 days, but sometimes the month, if it has 31 days, you can't have 4 weeks of 7 days. So the first 3 weeks I have is 8 days. The last week I have as 7 days. So I try to make them as even as possible, but the only month that they're ever even is February when there's 28 days. So typically this is what it looks like. So here starts the budget. So I'm just gonna zoom in a tad. So first, let's start with bills. BOI is my insurance for dental and vision, which is $14.76. What I'm putting towards my emergency fund this month is $150. And this arrow represents a transfer since it won't be sitting in my normal checking account. I have to transfer it to a high yield because it's not really high right now, but I transfer it to another savings account. So that's what that arrow indicates. And then you notice it looks a little wonky because I put my stickers down, I wrote down the categories, and then I realized I didn't put the checklist for my bills because I like to check them off as they get paid. So I didn't feel like whiting out everything. So that's why the checklists are off to the side and it looks a little weird. But that's okay. So Fidelity is my Roth IRA, and that gets $25 a month. A new bill this month is Patreon, which will be $5. I plan to become a patron of Victoria Marie. She has a YouTube channel, Victoria Marie Designs or Victoria Marie Scrapbooks or something like that. I'll link her down below. But I really like her videos, and she does lives for her Patreon, extra lives for her Patreon. So I'm starting to get back into scrapbooking. So I figured I would add that and, support a fellow YouTuber. So that was $5 a month. And then savings, as always, is $25. So my bills total for this month comes to $219.76. So now that I have my bills total, I'm just going to transfer that to my expenses page. So again, that was $219.76. Okay. So moving on to variable. So these are the amounts that I'm not sure how much. Obviously they vary. So I'm not sure how much they are. So at the end of the month, what I actually paid and the difference will be calculated. So for now, I'm just filling in my expected amount. Gas, even though I know this will be exactly $10, I still put it in variable. I've been talking for months now about adding it to the bills, and I think next year I will. But this year, I think I'm just going to keep it in variable for now. Metro is $25. I commute to school. I do not have a car. I take public transportation. But since everything with the pandemic right now, they completely waived fees to minimize contact on the Metro. But I don't know when they're going to start, because now that things are starting to open back up and we're advancing through our phases, I don't know when they're going to start charging again. So just in case they start charging in the middle of the month, I want to have money set aside for that just in case. So I may, like in the month of September, I didn't use any of it. I'm not planning to use any of it in the month of October, but just in case, I want to have that money set aside. I am renewing I plan to renew my passport this month. I have $110 saved, and I realized after I finished the budget that this just covers renewing the passport. It doesn't cover, taking the picture itself. So I most likely will be over in this, but that's okay. And this is part of that rollover money. So the $510 that I rolled over, 110 is for this, since I already had this money saved up in a previous month, but I plan to spend it. So that's why I moved it from a sinking fund to a variable expense, and to count for that extra expense that I'm planning, I put it in rollover. I hope that explanation makes sense. If not, you can ask me to clarify down in the comments below. So up next is pocket money, which is always $10. And this symbol indicates that it is a cash envelope, even though I don't really have an envelope for my pocket money. I just keep it in my wallet. But that symbol just indicates that I need to take cash out for it. And I always coordinate the symbol with the monthly spread. So that's why this is a pumpkin. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I actually make these stickers myself. I don't design them, but I make them. I always have the paper that I use linked down below. And this month is from Julia Dreams on Creative Market. I'll also link this Halloween collection also in the description down below if you're interested in purchasing it. So moving on to the next item is Power Sheets. I planned $100, and after I made my budget and finalized it, they released like a sneak peek of their collection and how much things cost, and I added up everything that I want, and it came to like $130 or something. So I probably will be over in this expense as well, but I've never purchased Power Sheets before, and when I planned how much I was going to spend on it, I had no idea how much anything cost, again, since I've never used them before. So you live and you learn, that's okay. But I'll try to keep it as low as possible, but I'm going to go over $100. But again, that's okay, which is why I always have like a miscellaneous fund. I call it spending. I put $50 towards it. This is kind of my catch-all. So this is for any unbudgeted expense, or if I go over in anything, it kind of gets absorbed or taken out of this expense. So I'm not too concerned as long as I don't go over in any category combined as the total of $50. Sorry, that took a little bit for me to explain, but as long as I don't go over in everything that totals $50, I will still be under for the month. So we'll see how that turns out. So the total that I'm spending for my variable expenses this month is $305. And I'm going to put that in my variable expense here. And then I'm just going to white out this random mark. I have no idea how it got there, but it's kind of bothering me. So there we go. Okay. So the next section is a new one. This is the emergency fund. This section used to be my debt section, but since I paid that off, I'm moving on to baby step 3, as you can see. So for this sticker, this is from Planner Kate. It's always linked down below. I budgeted $150 to put towards my emergency fund. And then if I have any extra money left over at the end of the month, I will put how much I actually was able to put towards it, that difference, and then the total sum of my emergency fund will go here. I'm thinking about adding a sticker that says balance or something. I used to have that way back when, but I ran out of those stickers and haven't purchased or bothered to make a new one. So I need to add that soon. Okay. Up next are my sinking funds. So I'm just going to fill these in. A lot of these haven't really changed, and I don't think there's really any new ones. So I think I'm just going to speed up this section, and then if I get to a section that's new, I will come back on and talk about it. And I just realized as we just started this, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, this is a lot more than it normally is. This $100, it typically is $15, but the extra 100 also came from a rollover expense. And then I realized that Ancestry DNA, which I'm planning to purchase, is a lot more than, I put in a lot more than I normally do. And this is just there's really no rhyme or reason to the random items in my sinking funds. I kind of just, if I have an extra $5, $10 left over when I'm done finalizing my budget, I'll just throw some of that towards random sinking funds. And in this case, it all just went towards Ancestry DNA. So that's why it's a little bit more than it normally is. I believe this expense is a new sinking fund. I'm saving up for a new camera. This is $100, and this $100 also came from that rollover amount. I believe FabFitFun is a new one as well. I'm just saving up, and I know I already have it budgeted in November to purchase a year's subscription for this, but I'm just starting to put $15 a month, which is what the year calculates out to, how much I'll be paying each month for each quarter's box. I have to double check that, but again, if any of these items vary, it's just because I had extra money or maybe too little money left over. So I think this is just the money that I had left that I'm putting towards it, but I have to double check how much it will be in the future. And then also the Florida Park Pass. After I made and finalized this budget, I realized that we actually will not have to pay for a Florida Park Pass anymore. So I believe I mentioned this in a previous video, but my boyfriend got a new job. He no longer works at Michael's, and he now works for the state of Florida. And because he is a state employee, he gets free access to their state parks. So this fund will actually just be emptied, and then this $32.50 will just go towards either to kind of counterbalance if I went over on any item, or to put in towards extra savings, emergency fund, and so on. So this fund will be emptied, and we no longer will be putting any money towards it, and then there won't be a fund left over. This one, if you notice, I am starting to fund scuba again. I haven't funded that fund for a very long time, but I am starting to put $10 a month back into it because my boyfriend is now certified, so we're planning to go on some dives together. Okay, so now that I have all my sinking funds filled, this total comes to an addition of $655.50. And then I'm going to put that amount, back in this section here. So that was $655.50. And then the last section I have to fill in, oh, actually not there yet. So saving down here, this will be also in addition to my emergency fund, I'm also putting any extra money towards savings. So I always plan $25, and then again, I'll put what I actually saved, that difference, and then my total savings amount here. And then again, this sticker is also from Planner Kate. On the next page is just the weekly check-in, and this gets filled in each week. And then this last section I have here is the joint section. So this is just my half of the joint. So what we do is we split all of our expenses in half, and we each pay from our individual account, and then we transfer it to the joint. So again, if any of these values seem a little low to you, it's because it is from my personal, it's for my half. Wow, that took a while. So if anything seems a little low to you, it's because it's just my half, not the total amount. And then again, like my sinking funds, I'm just going to continue to fill them in because these values really don't change. There's no new categories. I think they're all pretty self-explanatory with the exception of FPL. This is Florida Power and Light. This is our electric bill. And then the last amount here, $250. My boyfriend is actually only putting $50 because I'm putting that extra $200, which is from the last $200 that I'm rolling over for the month. And I actually do not have this amount calculated, so I'm going to quickly calculate this total and then write it down here. So my joint total comes to $1,602.73. So I'm going to quickly put that for my expenses here. So that's $1,602.73. So now I can calculate my total outgoing, which is $2,782.99. So because I have my total outgoing, I can now look at my total incoming to calculate my expected snowball. So my expected snowball, assuming I keep everything to budget, is $4.35. Now, if I'm under in any of these categories, that will just be added to this. And if I'm over in any of the categories, it'll be subtracted from this to get my total net balance. So that is all for my budget this month. These transfer amounts I'll just calculate separately just because, again, my boyfriend and I transfer our halves to the joint account, and then he transfers me the money that I take out in cash for the cash envelopes. And then we have a separate notebook for our joint budget, and all of these values will just pretty much be double what was in my personal budget. And then here is just our starting balances for our sinking funds for our joint account if you're interested. So that is all for my budget this month. Let me know what goals you guys are working on in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.